Today I'm going to be embarking on the biggest project I've taken on in woodworking. Welcome back into the shop, you guys. My name is Wesley Aring and I am excited to have you guys along for this project. So you're probably wondering, Wesley, what is this giant project you keep talking about? Well, in the last video I covered what the project was. I showed you a little bit of the SketchUp file on what I was working on. Now, I have not done anything of this scale on this channel before. I'm hoping to bring my experience from past projects into this, but regardless, this should be an exciting series for both you and me in terms of learning and getting better at the craft of woodworking. The first step of this project, as with any, is picking up all of the material at the hardwood dealer. While I was there, I picked up, I think it was a couple hundred board feet of 4/4 hit and miss maple. I know you guys like the technicals on the materials. And then I also purchased a total of 20 sheets of 3/4 hard maple plywood. I think that was everything. And the plan is to put all of this lumber over here onto the rack. That way, the only material that will be in the shop will be for this project. Now, in terms of the material that I selected for this project, instead of going with like a birch or an MDF or poplar or the lower end materials that I could use, I chose to go with maple because it's a little bit higher quality, it's a little bit nicer to work with, and hopefully when this whole thing is painted white, when it's all done, it should be a little bit nicer, more durable, and that kind of thing. And I know I'm rambling here, but the last thing that I'll share with you here really quick is that the fact that this project is so big means that I've had to do a lot of work kind of behind the scenes on SketchUp and planning out this entire project so that when I step out here into the shop and start building, it's actually a pleasant experience. So with that said, let's jump into it. Now you might be wondering to yourself, Wesley, this is not the biggest thing you've built, and that would be correct. So this is part 1 of 7, and now we're going to go ahead and get started on the upper half, which is going to be part 2. And here's a quick tip for you, something I just kind of figured out, is that with pocket hole joinery going into a 3/4 piece on 2 sides like this, you can actually stagger the pocket holes like this, so like these are spaced more than these. That way they don't run into each other and you can get a secure connection. So I thought I might show you that. You might find it useful in your own projects. Actually, while we're here, I'll give you one more tip. And that is that on all of the components you can see here, I have a piece of blue tape with a number and sometimes a letter. And what that means is that, for example, like this side and that side are both part 1. And then they're an A and a B side. And then the centerpiece is a different component, just like the back is a different component. That way I can keep track of everything and not have to worry about cutting the parts to the wrong size. And here is a rough idea as to what the desk section will actually look like. So if you can imagine two pocket doors coming out and sliding back, this essentially is the base for that. And then we'll have two sets of drawers here and over there as well. So now that I brought you up to speed on where we're at, let's go ahead and start building upwards. Now here is the next batch of parts that we're going to start assembling together. And you saw that I moved from cutting on a table over there to moving onto the workbench, and this is a little bit nicer because it's up higher, so I wasn't leaning over as much, which was nice. This is actually going to have some dados which we need to cut first. I have a few options with how I could cut these. I could do them on the table saw over here, or I could do them with the router. Now I think the router is going to be the best option because we could just set up a fence and zip those off and it'd be a little bit easier.